200 feet under soil and stone, a place for the wounded of a war that never came, and for patients who were never discharged. The forgotten hospital buried underground. If you're quiet, very quiet, you can still hear it. Not the wind, not the shift of old pipes. It's the sound of a code being called over an intercom that shouldn't have power anymore. Code Blue, Room 17. You heard it, didn't you? That's the first thing explorers talk about. Not what they saw, what they heard. During the fevered nights of the Cold War, the plan was simple. If the sky ever burned, life would continue beneath the ground. Bunkers were built, silos disguised, tunnels dug in straight lines like teeth. And somewhere between habit and terror, a decision was made. We will need a hospital, not a clinic, not a ward. A full, sealed medical city, surgical theaters, isolation suites, oxygen farms, water reclamation, even a chapel sized for grief. Blueprints were stamped with a name that meant nothing. ECHO-9. On paper, it was contingency. In whispers, it was something else. A long experiment in how long people could live in a place where time could not. The thinking went like this. You treat trauma at depth. You treat radiation where the air is clean and the doors lock. You keep the sick below until the dust at the surface settles. Days, months, years, if you have to. And if nobody ever sees them again, well, the paperwork can say whatever it needs to say. Decades later, the land above had forgotten. Fields were plowed. A service road broke and crumbled. A stand of trees grew where a concrete pad once lived. Then a survey crew came to stake lines for a new easement, and one of their markers sank straight down. A hollow beneath the ground gave a little sigh. They cleared the brush and found a hatch. Not a round submarine door, just a square of steel, blond with rust and ringed with bolts. No markings, no welcome. It took 3 days to cut the hinges. When the plate finally shifted, air came up slow and stale, carrying the antiseptic smell of a room no one has cleaned, but no one has dirtied either. The ladder was colder than it should have been. 30 rungs, then 40. Flashlight beams hit gray paint, stenciled arrows, a floor of epoxy pebble, worn smooth by ghosts of shoes. The first corridor curved left, then right, then opened into a lobby, a reception desk behind dusty plexiglass, a row of chairs with their vinyl cracked, a fish tank, empty, its glass crazed like ice, and everywhere, paper. Clipboards lay where hands had left them. A rolling cart carried a stack of intake forms, names redacted, dates unhelpfully neat. Someone had circled a time. 3:15 a.m., no date, no year, just a moment, underlined twice. They went deeper. Operation signs hung on swing arms. Radiology, isolation ward, theater C. Emergency lights glowed the color of a dying peach, as if a generator hiccuped somewhere, as if the building still remembered how to be awake. And then the wheelchairs. A whole corridor lined with them, all facing the same direction, as if they had been arranged for an audience, or by one. Ask 5 people what ECHO-9 was for, and you'll get 6 answers. Some swear it was a straightforward emergency facility, prep for radiation burns, triage for blast trauma, real medicine, real people, real fear. Others say it went darker. The Cold War didn't just stockpile bombs. It stockpiled ideas, isolation studies, behavioral tests, protocols for what happens to a human mind under pressure without end. There's a third story, too, that a cry for help came down those hallways one night. A mistake, an accident, a breach, and the door at the top was sealed, so that whatever was below would stay below. Whatever the truth is, this much is easy to verify on the tongue. The air still tastes like hospital, old iodine and dust, the kind of clean that never feels clean enough. Explorers talk about the intercom first, that impossible voice calling the same code every few minutes. Code blue, room 17. It shouldn't function. There's no power here. They pull batteries from their recorders and find them warm, drained dry by something that hums behind the walls. And then there are the doors. Ward numbers in hospitals make sense. 1, 2, 3. But here, the paint is flaked, the plates are missing, and yet the number 17 appears again and again where it shouldn't. Scratched on a push bar, greased into a fogged window with someone's fingertip, a scrawl beneath a nurse's station clock that has stopped at 3:15 a.m. They hear other things too. Not words exactly, rhythms. The squeal of a gurney wheel turning slowly somewhere out of sight. The rubbery flap of a curtain full of dust. The hup of a respirator that's been unplugged for half a century, still breathing on an empty room. One of the explorers tells a story about a camera. He films a corridor for a clean pan. When he reviews the footage later, the hall looks fine until exactly 3 seconds in. Then the frame resets to the beginning on its own. Like the corridor refuses to be seen in a straight line. He didn't edit that. He swears it. And you can hear it in his voice. That small tear in the fabric of certainty when a person realizes they're not documenting a place. The place is documenting them. In Theater C, under a sheet of tempered glass, there's a ledger. Brown spine, buckled pages. The first 30 sheets are appointment slots and neat initials. Then the handwriting changes, tighter, more hurried, fewer vowels. The way a pen moves when the hand holding it is wearing a glove. 2 pages near the back are stuck together. When they're teased apart, a thin line of something brown sticks and breaks with a sound like a secret being told. A note in the margin reads, "Repeat, 3:15, no response, clear again." Beneath it, a number, 17, and a small drawn square that could be a room, a door, or a window with no view. And tucked into the ledger like a pressed flower, a paper wristband. Name redacted. Allergy, none. Admit time, 2:47 a.m. Discharge, dash, dash. The stairs down to isolation are narrower. You can feel the building's weight fold around you. Paint blisters into maps. Your breath fogs a little even though the air isn't cold. At the landing, someone once taped a sign, "Protect eyes, mask required." The tape has fossilized to amber. Isolation rooms have 2 doors, one for you, one for the one you're trying not to be. Each has a little window. Each window is cloudy from within, and there it is, an intercom beside the door with the least dust. The call button is worn concave, as if a thumb lived there, a very patient thumb. Code blue, room 17. The voice sounds tired, more like a recursion than a recording, as if the building itself sighs those words, the way old beams sigh in a winter house. Someone has scratched a small message into the paint below. If you hear your name, do not answer. I won't tell you to keep out. You were never going to. But if you go, if your own boots find that cracked epoxy, if your light sources dim quicker than they should, you'll eventually reach the heart of the hospital. It's not the ICU. It's not the morgue. It's a space between a room that used to be a cafeteria, maybe, where the ceiling rises and the sound does strange things. Your voice comes back to you older than it left. There, against a wall of ceramic tile, a crash cart waits with its drawer open. Inside, paddles, cables, a syringe blister pack that still whispers when you press it. And on the wall above, a clock, round, banal, criminally ordinary. Handset stopped at 3:15 a.m. second hand, trying to move, failing, trying again, failing. Listen closely, and you'll hear more than the clock. You'll hear a conversation with no people. Pulse weak. Charging to 200. Clear. Again. Clear. Again. It repeats, not like a loop. Loops have edges. This has none. Someone notices something else. The corridor that brought you in is not the corridor you take to leave. The signs have shuffled. Radiology is now the opposite way. The wheelchairs face the opposite direction. And if you stayed too long at the intercom, if the syllables of your name were ever almost, just barely almost, spoken, then you will carry a sound out with you when you finally find the ladder. A soft elastic squeak, a slow rubber roll. The world above will look the same as it did when you left. But every third night, just before you sleep, you'll hear a gurney wheel reach your door and stop. You'll ask for the truth, because that's what we do to calm ourselves. We ask for the straight line, dates, names, reasons. You'll find a memo about cost overrun, and you'll nod. You'll find a requisition for a second defibrillator, and you'll wonder. You'll find a list of waste disposal pickups signed with initials no one can trace. Each document tries to be a door. Each door opens into a hallway that turns in on itself. The likeliest story is the worst. ECHO-9 did exactly what it promised. It kept people alive where life had no place to be kept. And in doing so, it learned the shape of the human edge. The place where medicine becomes ritual, and ritual becomes a way to keep fear walking in circles in the dark. At 3:15 a.m., something failed that wasn't a machine. A choice was made, and the building understood its new job was to hold a moment forever until someone could come to carry it the rest of the way. No one did, so the moment learned to carry itself. You can bury concrete. You can lock doors and melt keys and let fields erase footprints. You cannot bury a call for help. It learns the temperature of the air. It maps the mouths of tunnels. It finds your name and tries it on like a coat. If you ever find yourself on a back road where the asphalt gives up and your headlights catch on a square of ground that is flatter than it should be, stop if you must, but don't linger. The earth breathes there. It breathes slow. And sometimes, when the night is too still and the wind is only pretending, you can hear a tired voice ask for a room that's been scratched on every door. Code Blue, Room 17. Say nothing. Turn around. Let the hospital keep its patient. Let the hour stay where it belongs. Because if ECHO-9 taught us anything, it's that some doors are not exits. They are a promise to never leave. This was Project ECHO-9-. The forgotten hospital buried underground. If you hear the monitors start to beep again in your dreams, don't follow the sound. It already knows the way to you.